Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Frank's Collecting Castle. My name, as always, is Daniel, and it's time for part 4 of my Batman collection. We're going to start going through these books, and if I haven't spent too much time, we're going to go through some more books. But let's just get things going with the first book right here, and that is Batman Gates of Gotham. So we have the creative team here: Scott Snyder, Kyle Higgins, Trevor McCarthy, and Nathan Parrott. We have the spine right here. You have the back. So if you want to read that, you can obviously pause. Let's have a look. Very, very thin pages, though. That's the downside with usually when it comes to Marvel, DC, and all the American companies for these trade paperbacks. The pages are very, very thin. So to me, they risk breaking. So that's not very good. But you get a look at the artwork. I haven't read this one in a long while. It's been years since I picked this up, so I don't really remember the story here. That's Gates of Gotham. Let's move on to the next book. That is Batman Arkham Ra's al Ghul, however you want to pronounce his name. So they released a series called Batman Arkham, I should say. I can't speak apparently. Batman Arkham, and where they focused on different villains in the Batman gallery. And this time they focus on Ra's al Ghul, and this is the only one I have in this series so far. But it's I like Ra's al Ghul. I think he's a very cool character. It is just various different stories throughout the history of the publication of Ra's al Ghul. Let's see if we can see what this can. Yep, here we go. So this collects Batman 232, 243, 244, Batman Annual 26, Batman and Robin number 23.3, DC Special Series 15, Brave and the Bold 159, Detective Comics 750, Nightwing 152, and also includes the Ra's al Ghul profile from Who's Who in the DC Universe number 13. So you can see it's quite a lot of various different stuff there from different series and from different time periods. So we get a little look at the you can see here when they came out, 1971, 72, 78, 80, 2000, 2007, 2009, 2013, and 1991. So you can see it spans through the decades. You can see here that they have done some recoloring. Some of these looks really wonky. Unfortunately, I don't like when they recolor. I'm not a fan of it because the original colors look much better to me, so I don't. I know when they came out with those Swamp Thing books, they had recolored them, and I was wanting to get them, but then I saw that they recolored them, and I didn't want to get them. Didn't know that when I picked this up, but because I think it takes away from the artwork. This is a classic. altogether, it's nice artwork here. So yeah, that is Batman Arkham Ra's al Ghul. Then we have a bit of a thicker book. That is Batman No Man's Land. So that's part 1. There are, I can't remember how many volumes of this Batman No Man's Land. It's like 7 or 8 volumes, I think. This was a big story that ran through all different Batman titles. And it doesn't say exactly what this collects. Unfortunately, because you can see if we can see here. So we have No Man's Land number 1, Shadow of the Bat 83. Then we got Batman 563, Detective 730, Azrael, Agent of the Bat 51, Batman Legends of the Dark Knight 116. Then you move on to Shadow of the Bat. So you can see this is a very sprawling series that moved through all of them, all the different Batman titles. So you're going to see a lot of different artwork in this book from very different artists, of course. This is the type of artwork that I enjoy. It's really nice. Unfortunately, I never finished the story. I didn't continue buying No Man's Land. It was just this mixture of artwork. I really didn't like it. They could have kept, but I understand that they had to, like, you know, do these volumes and get all the different titles in there to get the complete story. But I kind of didn't like all the, as I said, the different types of artwork. That was kind of annoying. Because you can see how it changes drastically between the different titles, different types of artwork. It can be a bit frustrating. Yeah. So that's part 1, I think, of Batman No Man's Land. Basically when they closed down Arkham, or yeah, they closed down Gotham City. Here we have a classic one. This is A Death in the Family. One of the more classic Batman stories of all time. Jim Starlin, Marv Wolfman, Jim Aparo, George Perez. Classic cover as well. There's the spine. The back. Here you can actually see the difference when they have not done the recoloring. They have the like original colors. So let's see, just do a little comparison here. I'm gonna do like that, just hold that one down so you can see when they've done recolored colors. So here when you have like original colors, and here you have when you have the remastered, recolored. I think you can see the difference quite clearly. It becomes more cartoonish to me, more round. If you get what I'm trying to say here. I like this much better. So that's the difference when you do recoloring compared to when you have like the original colors here. This is a great story. A Death in the Family. Classic story. And we have Batman Tales of the Demon. Another Ra's al Ghul featured story. Here you have the blurb. Unfortunately, this is another one that they've recolored. It's a bit sad. I think this contains also different things. We got Detective 411 from 1971. Then we got Batman 232. And Batman 235. Batman 240. Batman 242. Batman 243. 244. Detective 485. Detective 489. Detective 180. Or no, not 180. 490, I'm sorry. Just read that wrong. I should go picture of Raj. Rage. And once again, you can see that they've recolored here. The paper quality here is not the glossy type. This is the, like, you know, newspaper paper quality, which I like better. But once again, there's still a very, very thin paper, which I don't like. I didn't know that they recolored this when I picked it up. The artwork, you know, the artwork is still nice, but I just don't like when they recolor stuff. I think it takes away something. It takes away so much from the. It takes away from the artwork, and it, you know, takes away the original coloring. But yeah, it's a good book overall. Then one of the most classic ones, of course, is The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, Klaus Janson, and Lynn Warley. So this has obviously been published many, many, many times, and it keeps being published, new editions every year, basically. This classic tale. The Dark Knight Returns. It's a nice one. And this has come out in so many different formats and throughout the years. You can see instantly here how it's different from most comics you see these days. This is so different. And, I mean, Klaus Janson and Frank Miller, it's an amazing team working together. Yeah, the artwork is different. The panel layout is incredibly different. It's just it was a comic that blew everybody's mind, and it was so different when it came out. And that's why it's been evergreen to this day, and very important, and so influential and very different than a lot of comics that have come out throughout the years. Yeah, Dark Knight Returns, one of the classic stories in the Batman lore. Then we have a Tales of the Multiverse, Batman Vampire, also like Elseworlds story that you like to call it. So here we have Doug Mensch, Kelly Jones, John Beatty, Malcolm Jones III. So it's basically Batman vampire stories. So you have a forward here, then we have Batman and Dracula Red Rain, Batman Bloodstorm, and Batman Crimson Mist. Once again, the paper quality, and you know, the newspaper paper quality, which I prefer so much. Especially when you got more broody, dark tone colors. And even black, you know, when you have a black and white artwork, you need this type of paper quality. But if you have the glossy paper, that fits for, you know, artwork that is that really pops, you know, the strong colors. But when it's more moody and broody like this, definitely this type of paper really fits it a lot more. These are all very cool stories, though. It's a little risque right there. Yeah, very cool stuff. This is a very cool book, very moody book. Batman Vampire Tales of the Multiverse. Then we have Batman The Man Who Laughs with Ed Brubaker, Doug Mahnke, Paul Scherzer, and Aaron Soud. Another good story. I'm a big fan of Ed Brubaker. Spine. The back. When you go through these books, you can definitely see obviously difference in how artwork is done, how the different artwork looks for different time periods, whether it's the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and obviously the different artists and how they do their artwork. So this is more round artwork, you know, a bit more cartoonish, I would call it. Then we go into a book that I've talked about before, because I have the absolute edition of this. So this is Batman, All-Star Batman and Robin, obviously by Frank Miller and Jim Lee. I showed you the absolute edition of this. So again, we get the good paper quality that I like. Get the Jim Lee artwork here. You can see Jim Lee always does the rounder artwork. I have to say, I know everybody loves Jim Lee, but I've never been the biggest fan of Jim Lee, but he does good stuff though. I can't complain too much, or I'm not going to complain too much about Jim Lee's artwork, but I've never been a huge fan of Jim Lee. I know a lot of people are. That's All-Star Batman and Robin. Another book that features Jim Lee is Batman Hush. You saw I have something, a black and white edition, unwrapped, but this is the color version, obviously. So we have Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, and Scott Williams. Sorry. stuff. Batman Hush. Then, now we're coming to one of the very, very, very best Batman stories of all time. That is Batman Year One. Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli. Another one that has been released so many times in so many different editions, and it deserves it. You can watch the animated movie as well, because that is really damn good. It really does this graphic novel. It just deserves. So. Get a nice introduction. And then we get, this is such a good story. Such a good story. I love the artwork. So this is a story about, obviously, Batman, his first year, Bruce Wayne's first year as Batman, but it's much more a story about Commissioner Jim Gordon as well, about his first year as commissioner in Gotham, as he arrives in Gotham, and see what type of city it is. Obviously, Gotham City is really New York. This is a wonderful, wonderful story. One of the very, very best Batman stories of all time. Year One. And we have Batman Dark Victory. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Fantastic story this is. And fantastic artwork. They did the trilogy, and I'm going to go through that right now. I just love this. This is the type of story artwork that deserves to have European-sized. You know, the biggest type of artwork you can get. It's just so freaking beautiful. It's amazing artwork. That's a great panel right there. That's a great page. Dark Victory. He also did Haunted Night. Seems though as this one has been recolored. Not sure, but it looks like it. This is the type of book that should not be recolored. Looks like it's been recolored, but I can't be sure. It really looks like this is a recolored edition. Yeah, Haunted Night. Then we get to the classic once again that I've shown that I have the absolute of, and I have the noir black and white edition, and of course that is The Long Halloween. I went through the absolute, and I went through the noir edition, the black and white version, but I love this story so much. That's why I have it three times over here. deserves every great edition it can get. It's so beautiful. Such a beautiful book. And the last book I'm going to show you today is Batman Dark Detective. We have Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers, and Terry Austin. Very nice artwork though. Yeah, so those are the books that I'm going to go through today. I'm going to do at least one more video, probably, I would say probably two, but let me know down in the comments, what do you think about these books? And what do you think about my collection so far? Let that conversation get going. And yeah, I'll be back in a couple of days with even more books to try to finish up this Batman collection of mine. But yeah, until next time, everybody, I'll see you all soon again. Bye.